Former FBI Director James Comey was arraigned in a federal court in Virginia today following repeated calls by President Trump to prosecute him. Comey pleaded not guilty. His lawyer told the judge they would move to quickly dismiss the case, calling it a vindictive and selective prosecution. No cameras were in the court, but you could see Comey's family arriving, including, crucially, his daughter. Remember his daughter, former federal prosecutor Maureen Comey, right there next to her mother. You may remember Maureen Comey helped prosecute the case against Ghislaine Maxwell and was abruptly fired by Trump's DOJ this summer with no explanation. First-time prosecutor Lindsay Halligan, who's never prosecuted a case in her entire life, who was handpicked by Trump to be the U.S. attorney after the existing U.S. attorney was pushed out over his refusal to indict Comey. She was there along with the two prosecutors she added to the case only yesterday, admitting in court they weren't quite up to speed. Quote, "We're just getting our hands around the discovery." One of them saying there's a large amount of discovery. But the judge rejected the prosecution's request for more time and set a trial date for January 5th, if it ever reaches trial. Joyce Vance is former U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Alabama. She worked with James Comey attorney Patrick Fitzgerald at the Department of Justice. Christy Greenberg is former deputy chief of the Criminal Division of the Southern District of New York, and they both join me now. Joyce, first, what did we learn today from the arraignment, if anything?
You know, it's really interesting. The Eastern District of Virginia is the first court that I ever practiced in. I was barred in Virginia as a brand new lawyer. And if you practice in that courthouse, you understand that there is a rocket docket there, that the court moves very quickly. But it was clear that these two prosecutors brought in from the Eastern District of North Carolina didn't get that message in advance of arraignments today. And so they expressed to the judge that they needed more time. And I suspect that he was rather incredulous to get that reaction from them. Pat Fitzgerald, Jim Comey's defense lawyer, was similarly, I think, inclined to make it clear that they did not understand the playing field, suggesting, for instance, that they were ready to go to trial very quickly and that he didn't understand why prosecutors hadn't resolved information about classified evidence before indicting the case.
Chrissy, one thing that we've seen with Trump is to use time and courts in a specific way, right? To draw things out when that's advantageous, to rush things along when that's advantageous, and that in each of these ways you can you can achieve kind of ends that are independent of the ultimate disposition of the case. And it struck me today as I watched this. I mean, first of all, there is a logistical problem, right? No one in this office is clearly going to prosecute this case because all the line attorneys think it's a travesty of justice. But it also occurred to me that, from the Trump perspective, the whole point is for Comey to be under a cloud, to be indicted, to be facing this prosecution